Hello guys! So I've been crafting quite a lot for the last few days, and I figured let's continue with, hang on, give me, oh, this one and this one, and also this one, and also this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. With other words, they need papers. I have more than these, but yeah, these were the ones that were like, oh, I just grabbed a bunch. And these two, we just, no, yeah, this one and this one we just made. And I also have my, where's my brown one? Where's the brown one? Okay, hang on. Ta-da! There it was. That's the original one. Okay, so what we obviously need for these guys are some papers. So yeah, we're gonna go over today, talk a little bit about different types of paper, and hope I can give you some inspiration. You can search around your house and find whatever you have and just enjoy the process of putting things together. It's lovely. I promise you will love it. Okay, so as you can see, we have quite a lot of covers to put papers in. So I just brain farted on the word covers. They're different sizes. I mean, quite a few have pretty much the same size, but there is a few ways you can change the size of the paper, and you also don't need the same size paper. So we're going to talk about papers. I'm going to put this away and grab some papers. Okay, so all of a sudden a whole bunch of papers. So I got these hand-dyed papers from, is it Serious Hecka or is it Judy? I am not 100% sure who gave me these. They are amazing, and I keep hoarding them. They're so pretty. I don't want to use them. I don't know. I'm supposed to use them. Anyway, so tissue paper, or this type of, what is this? Kind of sandwich paper, kind of, you know, it's what's the word I'm looking, like parchment kind of paper. It's really, I love these. They're so soft and they're so pretty. Anyway, envelopes is another thing. Maybe you have some at home. It doesn't have to be pretty like these. You can make them pretty. That's the whole point of creating stuff. You can make it pretty. Used envelope too. I have that further down in the pile here. So I find these. These are amazing. If you can get like this, so they're still together in the center, you just sew them into your book like that. Very simple. If they are taken apart, which, let's face it, most of them are, you just simply just fold them like that, and voila, you have paper you can sew in. And again, papers doesn't have to be, for junk journals especially, the more variation you have in sizes and style of the paper, the better. You will get a more interesting results. So these are hand-dyed papers. These are just copy printer paper that are just hand-dyed. These are actually dyed with ink, so you can kind of see the brush strokes there. This is coffee dyed, and this is, I'm not sure what I used there. Could be a combination of tea and ink, it looks like. And this is tea dyed. And this is probably tea dyed. No, coffee dyed, actually. It's coffee dyed. I see it's darker in here. Okay, so you have your hand dyed papers. I mean, a cup of coffee or a cup of tea you can get, and you can just brush it on the paper with something. I'm gonna have a sip of coffee. Yum, yum, yum. These are old calendars. These were a bit thicker, so I would probably use these for covers. I would glue something on this side and fold it up, and I would have covers that are really pretty covers. But you can put them in your journal. I prefer, and this is my preference, to use thinner paper in my journal, because the decorations will add so much bulk that I don't want too thick papers in my, that I sew in for the base of the signature. Other people do the other way around. They prefer thicker paper because it gives it sturdiness to the paper. It's easy to put decorations on. And when you have thinner paper, it's kind of, and you have something heavy on the side, they kind of want to fold and wrinkle and stuff. So, but you do to your taste. If you prefer thicker paper, go for thicker paper. And there's plenty of those. We're gonna go through this. These are thicker paper. A calendar. This is from Garden magazine, I think. No, it's just a weekly magazine. Very pretty picture. You can either leave the back as is or glue a plain like notebook paper or something to the back and just fold it, and you have a really pretty page for your journal. This is a piece of copy paper that I glued scraps on. I would, however, strengthen the spine, because you can see when the paper becomes a bit hard, it becomes crispy. That's the word I'm looking for. It becomes crispy, so it want to break. So I would probably glue some fabric or something on there to make it stiffer. No, not stiffer. What's the word? Not break at the spine, as you can see. Has down here. So again, this is a good way to use up your scraps. You can do it on both sides if you want to. Again, this becomes a bit too thick for my taste, for my liking, for the journals that I'm making. This might be perfect for you if you like thicker paper. And you get to use up your scraps. Here I have a lot of envelopes. So you can either... Give me a sec. Sorry, I had them further down. So this is the front and the back of a bigger envelope like this. I cut up the part with the address on it, and I cut up off the top, and I would have these paper. So this is just a used envelope, and fold it up, and you have pages for your junk journal. This is from the back of that envelope, and you can fold them up like that. They're not straight anywhere, so there's no point in really. So there we have more pages for the journal, like that. So here I have a whole ton of old envelopes, and you can also just use them like that and just fold them up like that. Then you can either have the pockets like these. You can sew them together. You can do little cutouts, so it's easy to take things in and out. You can close them up there and open this side instead and have pockets from that side. So envelopes are really good to use. Don't worry, we're gonna sew one together. Book pages, again, if you can get a book page that's together, you just sew them in as is. You might want to strengthen, like you can see this one is slightly weakened because that part was glued in. So I'll probably strengthen this one with something, but this one was not glued in. It was one of the inner pages in the signature, so I could sew this one in as is in the journal. Or again, if you have a single page, just fold them up and you will have nice 2 pages. Obviously, your junk journal paper, your pretty paper, your hobby paper, my hands are so cold. They are amazing. And this one I love, because again, I don't like thicker paper. This one has thinner paper, and didn't go too well when I ripped this one. They're very well glued in here, so you kind of had to cut them out. I tore these out, and yeah, I'm gonna have to cut the top off them. But since most of my journals are slightly smaller, yes, I'm walking away from you guys. Because I put these away. Bit too far. Let me grab one of those that we made. Let's grab this one with the blue. So as you can see, I'm still gonna have to cut off a little bit, so it doesn't really matter. This is the one of my regular sizes that I end up with, so this doesn't matter. Also, even if I had to cut it smaller than the cover, it doesn't matter, because you can have it always smaller, or you can have paper sticking up if you want to. You know, you can do any way you want. It's your journal. So this one is Forest Fairy Junk Journal Kits. I bought it on Amazon, and I really like this one. It had so many nice papers, and these are already, what I really like about these, a lot of them, when they're single-sided, the back side is very white. These ones have neutral back sides, but they are dyed. They are different No, actually all of them are this kind of pinkish brown vintage grungy kind of thing. Really old used. I love this. So you will have the pretty pictures on one side, actually 2 sides, because you fold them like that. So you will get 4 pages out of one. And I love them. I love them. So if you want to use your pretty paper, go ahead. Go ahead. There's nothing that's stopping you. This is also from a book. Just fold it up and you have papers. You have papers for your journal like that. You can glue in some, lined notebook papers. You can glue decorations, depending on what you want to do with yours. You might want to use it as an art journal, and then it doesn't really matter if you have. I have some glue stuck on it. Again, this is one of the pretty papers. These ones comes folded like this, and you can just fold them like that, and you have a pocket finished. If you fold them like that, sew them in, you have the pocket finished. I actually would do it that way, because I feel 2 pockets, like when you fold it up like that, it's boring. But you do you. Regular notebook. Now these are kind of tricky to get. Where do I have it? Center. There. As you can see, it's very well sewn in there. So what I would do is simply this. And you will get an interesting edge. Just like that. And you just fold it. And you fold it. Oh, I can't fold straight. Oh, goodness. Can I do this? Can I do this? No, yes. Like that. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4 pages for your journal. Yay! Oh, but they're so small. It doesn't matter. The more different sizes you have, the more interest you're going to create in your junk journal. I say as most of my words are the same. Again, pretty picture, fold it in half, and you will get 4 really interesting pages. So for like here, if you don't like the writing, just glue something on there. Piece of notebook paper, something like that. Again, size doesn't matter. So these are from a little notebook, and you just, voila. Or you can fold them up the other way around and get very thin little, narrow is maybe the word I'm looking for. Very narrow little pages in between pages that you can glue stuff sticking out of, and so on. So you can do a lot of fun with that. Also fun shaped little notebooks. This one I had, the notebook itself, it was in plastic, it was brand new. I had it for sale in my secondhand shop for a long time. It didn't sell, so I figured let's use it. So this one, you can take 2 of these. Let's take 2 bunny pages like that. There we go. And unless you want to fold them, you can also glue them together like these. So just glue them on top of each other and fold it over when it's dry. And you have 2 fun little bunny pages. Oh, my hair is everywhere. If it's not my hair, then it's pet hair. It's like, no matter how hard I try. So notebooks, pages, just fold them up. I'm sure you have a notebook somewhere. Now I've been doing something with notebooks. Oh, and these are the pages that are like the first when you open a book, you have like an empty page. So these are those empty pages from a few books. And you just fold them, put in your journal. Notebook. I wonder what that was. Envelopes we already talked about. And you can sew them in so you can have that part. Or you can fold this one in like that. And you can fold them like that and sew them in that way. And then you will have a pocket on each side of the sewing. Don't forget your embossed paper. Just fold them up, put them in. Okay, and we have, for more interest, I also put some scraps in here, like old maps. Oh, now this is just a part of an old map, but so it's, yes, it's scraps. Don't forget your scraps, guys. You can get a lot of interesting pages with scraps. This one is something I would not put in because it's very fragile. No, actually this one is kind of good. Was it this one? Yeah, this one is the one. So this one is really fragile. So, you know, just do a very gentle and see if it breaks, then it's too fragile to put in as is. You can glue it onto another paper and put it in your journal as paper if you want to, but this one it's older, but it has a different type of paper, so it doesn't break that easily. So this one I would totally sew in as is. And dictionary. Hand-dyed papers we gone over. Here is from a Flora book, and it's again one of these, so just sew them in as is. Or if you find a single one, fold them, because it will create a great deal of interest to your page. I usually put, when I have a pretty image, I put them at the center. So this is the center of the signature, because then you get the full image, but you still get to sew it in like that. Notebook, not notebook paper, what do you call it? Music sheet paper, yes. This is from a book about mammals. This is Moose book. So you can just fold it like that and put it in. Or you can cut them in half and fold, like cut them here. Because it's too big for most of my journals to go in like that. It's way too high and I don't want to cut it down more. So I can do this and sew it in. And then I will have pocket and pocket. Okay. Then when I come to the end of notebooks, I usually put them in one of these ring binders. Do you still call them ring binders when they have this little blip at the bottom and you kind of open? I don't know. So here I have different, like when I have a few pages left in the notebook, I rip them out, put them in here and use that. So notebook paper, yes. Maybe you have, if you scavenge through, and notebook paper becomes really cool when you dye them. So if you have a cup of coffee, just smear some coffee on here. No milk, no milk, no milk for that. I have milk in my coffee nowadays because of my stomach. Yes, and don't forget your funny papers. No, I dyed mine, but I love these. I love Minions, and these are some. Actually, the lines almost went gone on these. So these were actually stationery papers. They came like this with the envelope, and I coffee dyed them, and I can sew them in as is. There we go. And again, these are just regular cheapo envelopes that I coffee dyed. You don't have to coffee dye them. You can use them as white. And again, you can sew them in like that. Or you can sew in there. And again, packaging is amazing. You can use them for covers, or you can just open them up and you can use them as pages in your book. And this is one of these padded envelopes. And now this was padded with this stuff. That creates a lot of interest in your journal. I think this can be opened one more time, can it? I feel like these are folded. Yeah. These can be opened. Yeah, here we go. So you can open these ones up. And you will have some more interesting pages to your book. How cool are these? So just sew them in the middle there. And you have some fun pages. And this was also in the inside of the padded envelope. And it's a very strong paper. So it's perfect to use in a junk journal. Book pages, obviously. We love book pages. Catalog pages. You can put in your journal. These are just some, you know, those colored papers. This is folded and then cut with one of those fun scissors. And these are just folded. So don't forget to maybe scavenge a little bit. So here are hand-dyed notebook papers. This is tea-dyed. This is coffee-dyed. I love the crinkly sound. Also, tissue paper. These came with a pair of boots that I just bought. Some winter boots. And I think these are really cute. And it creates a different texture, different interest in your junk journal. There are a few things to think about though. I'm going to go over that in a bit. And don't forget your little tiny square papers. We're going to go over different ways of folding smaller papers. And we have obviously your stationery. We also have your vintage and antique bills or receipts or whatever these are. We have a telegram there, and you know, we have a lot of these. These ones you can sew in and use as pages in your book. I prefer to put them in pockets and stuff to not break them up, but I bought journals that had these sewn in and they're so pretty. They are so pretty. Packaging. These are from packaging that I received, and I simply ironed it. So these are just ironed. You know, they come scrumpled up, and you can kind of just straighten them out like this. For storage reason, I iron them. So this type comes kind of in a long strip, and these ones have these perforated spacers so you can easily rip it off when you're shipping. So these come scrumpled up, and I just flatten them and then iron them. So these gives a lot of pages. So don't forget your packaging. And I'm sure if you snoop around at home, I'm sure you can find a lot of fun stuff. How about your weekly planner? And this one is, yeah, I just cut out the square. But I do have weekly planners, and sometimes I just rip a page of that, fold it up, and voila, you have pages. So let's put some in. Now, there are a few things. First, you have to decide if you want to decorate before you sew them in. And that will prevent the alligator mouth, the gaping ones. Hang on. Okay, so this is mine. This is, you've seen it before. I got it for my 50th birthday, and I'm still using it. But as you can see, it's really gaping. Now I have a pen in there also, so I don't forget where I am when I'm writing. But let's gently remove that just a little bit now. Let's put something else in there. Put this strip of, there we go. So, I mean, it's still very chunky. So if I decorate the pages beforehand, I wouldn't get as much of alligator chumpy, not chumpy, what's the word? Chunky. Yeah, big difference. So if you decorate them beforehand, you might have this straight kind of perfect looking book thingy that's not gaping like crazy. This one is about to go up on my Etsy pretty soon. I'm just gonna film the flip through. FYI, just a little thingy. So if you want to decorate first, grab your papers and decorate and see where you end up with the thickness. I don't do that. Have you noticed? Maybe you noticed. I love the chunky journals, the gaping journals, the ones that are absolutely packed with yummy stuff, you know? Those journals. So let's start to have a look at this one. So this one doesn't have a very wide spine. I would not put more than maybe three thin, but I think this is more like a 2 signature with the way I stuff them. This is about 2 centimeters spine, so that's less than an inch. No, it's about an inch. 2.5 centimeters an inch. So yeah, it's easier to measure if you fold it the other way around. So that's what we're talking about in spineage. So 2.5, 3 centimeter. Yeah. So I would not put more than 3 signature in this one. You kind of have to this one has 5 signatures. And that's what I usually put in the ones that with wide spine. This was not made by me. This was made by a friend and given to me. So she has 5 signatures in this one. And she didn't put that many pages in, but it ended up pretty chunky. And it keeps getting chunkier because I put a lot of stuff in here. I filled up the pockets. I write a lot of stuff. I put little notes in here. And, you know, I really use my journals. So it becomes thicker when you use it. So keep that in mind. So depending on what type of journal you want to consider the number of pages put in. Also, another thing you want to think about is the paper themselves. Now, I prefer to use regular printer paper, copy paper, book pages, and also like thinner packaging papers. So I'm going to put some papers together. And I'm not going to let you listen to me ripping and stuff. I'll be right back. I forgot to talk about another thing. So this journal is currently blue-green. So you could do take the position to use blue and green papers in it. That's also a fun thing. You can color coordinate the cover with the inside. So, for example, there we are. Now I grabbed some white too, but we have the blue papers and we have the green papers. So maybe that's what you want to use in this one. I actually think I'm going to put in blue and green papers in this one. So all I do is fold them up for now. Hi guys again. So don't forget to use your punches. You can make a lot of fun pages with the help of your punches. So here I punched out on a little bit of notebook paper. Again, they don't have to match the size of your journal. They can be very different size. Here is another notebook. This is one of those to-do lists, and you put date and stuff. So they look like that. When you sew them in the journal, you can either just sew them in somewhere, or you can do both of them. And instead of doing both like that, you can flip one over. So you can do them like that. One at the top, one at the bottom, or like on top of each other, or 2 different signatures. So I have these longer ones, this little note thing, you know, and some scraps. So now we're going to look over it. So how many pages do you need? That's a question we always see. How many pages? Depends on your paper. Depends on what you're going to do with the journal. Depends on the number of decorations. So knowing yourself, do you want to decorate a lot or a little? Do you want a gaping journal or not gaping journal? Now, since I love the gaping journals, I tend to put in a lot more pages in mine than it's needed. But I always start every signature with a bigger page. So I think I'm going to start the outside of one. I'm going to do 2 for this one. Could do 3, but I think I'm going to go with 2. That's more than enough, I think. So these are going to be the cover of each signature, so to speak. So we have signature 1 and we have signature 2, I think. Come on, open up. Open up. There we go. So I'm just going to kind of put in some paper, see where we're at, see the thickness. So that's what I do. I just try it out because every paper has very different thickness. Some are very, like these are very wobbly, not wobbly, very textured, and they take up a lot more space. But I said I wanted some green and blue papers in this, so I'm going to put in green and blue, and let's put something different here. So let's use some packaging. And for this one, I'm going with a white. You don't have to do the same in both, in all your signature. I normally do, but that's just, no, I don't want to put that right. Oh, let's put that there. And let's put this one there, because they're cute. So let's see where we're at with the thickness. So I'm going to fold them up like that. And I'm going to put them in here and see where we're at. So let's put them in. And as you can see, if you squeeze them together, it doesn't look like much at the front here. But when I put them down and relax, this is what the paper's doing. Which means this one is probably gonna gape for me when it's decorated. So I think this is enough pages for now. I might actually put some more in there, just for the fun of it. Because you will, you know, I want to have some more. I like the gaping. So I'm actually going to go in here and put in this one. There, that's enough. So I'm going to leave this. So this is what we're going to put in our journals. And I'm going to tap it to the back. And kind of semi adjust it this way from there to there. So this fell to the bottom. Oh, I have to go over it again. You know what? Let's keep the bottom straight and just cut the top. I think that will be easier. So I'm gonna tap everything a little smaller down a bit, because I'm gonna have to cut off quite a lot at the top if I'm gonna keep it in. And the top and the bottom I prefer to keep within the side of the junk journal, because that's usually where the most tear and damages will happen. If they stick out this way, it doesn't seem to matter as much, I've noticed. At least not on mine, not on the ones I'm using. So I do want it to fit within the frames of the hard part of the cover, so to speak. So yeah, let me go through. So this one should be in here, and check the bottom. Actually, I want, for this one, I actually would like, so when I cut it, I'm gonna cut it actually upside down, this one, and then go in and turn it, because I want to keep this frayed part. And now my birds are, if you hear the knocking, that's birds. I'm feeding them, and they sit outside and knock. So there, so when I cut this off, I just flip it around and I get to keep this fun edge. So let's keep that to the bottom. This one is good as is. This one, let's pull it down a little bit. There. And there. And this one we pull down. So I have the cover at the back there to check where I'm at. These ones at the bottom. Yeah, we're good. We're good with this one. I'm just gonna tap it down a little bit more. There, now I can cut the top of this one. So I'm gonna clamp it for now, and let's go with this one. Actually, no, what did I do now? Did I put them all together? No. These are supposed to be on top of these. Oh, goodness. There we go. Now that's all together. Let's go with the second one. So I want to keep everything at the bottom. This one I don't mind. This one won't. So now I'm going to cut the height of them. Something like that, something like that. Let's do that. I'm lazy. I prefer to cut them both at the same time. But you do as you prefer. There we go. So now I'm going in with the height. And I'm going to flip it over just because it's easier. So here I have the approximate height of it. So I'm just going to do a little mark here. I go in with my ruler. And I will go there-ish. Again, I'm not too worried about straightness. We're going to cut and rip and decorate the pages to Kingdom Come, and yeah. It's gonna be wonky and fun at the end anyway. So let's And this is how we get scraps, guys. That we can make a lot of more fun things with. A lot of pockets, a lot of decorations, a lot of, yay, we can do fun stuff. There we go. So that's that. Now I need to go in and check that everything is as far back as I want it. And also think about what parts I want to cut off, because they're going to stick out a lot, or if I'm going to rip it, or if I'm going to fold it in. So let me take this for starters, and I'm going to flip that one the right way up. This one we want it this way. And there we go. So this one I actually want to fold in. So let me check with the cover. How far in do I want it? I want to flip about there in order to keep it in properly. Just make it like that. And the same for this one. I'm going to flip it in, maybe. Come on, stop fighting me. Stop fighting me. Something like that, maybe. Is that enough? Is that enough? It's kind of tricky. Might need a bit more. It's actually quite small covers. Now, how about we fold it pretty much all the way in? Pretty much like that. Should be better. So let's keep this as is, this as is. Just gonna push it back to something like that. So I'm pressing it down so they're all as far this way as they can get. And let's clamp it. There we go. So, and let's do the other one. I actually want this one that way, just because I do. So here we have this one. I'm going to fold you in, and I'm going to fold you this way, like that. Yeah. Yes. Okay, and let's fold it in on this side. There we are. Okay, so let's try and push it in, and I'll push it up, and something like that. There we go. It's not completely straight and glorious, but it's sometimes this is the fiddliest part. There we go. So now we have these two guys, and I want to kind of cut the width of them. This is the fiddliest part of making a journal, in my opinion. And I find this more tricky to do after if you decorate the pages beforehand. Because you need to cut them down and make them kind of into size before you decorate, and then you're supposed to get it in and sew it in. I find that a lot trickier. For me. You might find it easier. So since I know I don't want them further than that, so I'm putting like that. See it back here, and I unfold it, and that's when I know I can't cut them further out than that. So let me do this. That. Now I'm putting down the. I kind of want to make a mark My pen disappeared. There. So I kind of want to do a little mark there. And I want to go a bit further that way than the mark. Just a little bit. Not too much. So can you see the mark there? So I'm just going a little bit further in. And I'm cutting. Hold the ruler firmly in place. Make sure your blade is sharp. You know, all those good things. And this is not going to be straight. I can see that. So I'm changing it slightly. And it doesn't really matter because you're going to do a lot of fun things to the edges, glue stuff to the edges, and, you know, especially if you decorate the way I do. You might not want to do that. So you might want to be more precise. You might want to measure. You might want to do all of that stuff. But let's face it, I'm not measuring type. Size doesn't really matter to me. I just try to keep it in my pants, kind of thing. Keep it in the covers. There we go. There we go. And I have 2 signatures. There we go. Let's zoom out. Wrong way. That way. So here we are. It looks so neat and tidy right now. Actually, I want the blue one first. Let's put it like that. There we go. So here we have it. And it looks so little. It looks like there's hardly any pages in here. But trust me, once you start to decorate, it's going to bulk up quite a lot more. But I'm also tempted, at this stage, I am always tempted to put in a lot more pages. But trust me, this is enough for now. This is when I usually end up putting in a 3rd signature. But I'm not going to do this time. I'm going to be smart this time. Yeah, I'm going to try anyway. So that's how I pick pages. I just grab what I have, put it together, and I try to create contrast. As you can see, there's not 2 same pages together anywhere. It's always different. So every time you open a page, it's going to be something different. It's going to be something different. There might be same color, but different height. There might be, you know, something like that. So I'm going to find some papers for the other journals. And I will see you in the next video.